I'm saying? So we got to think about what do we want to do, get people to come alongside of us that will say, you can do that, and I will help you. And there's people out there like that. Setbacks are going to come. In fact, some of your friends are going to, you can't do that. You're too old. You've got glasses. You're wearing a white hat. You can't do that. Nobody's worn a white hat's ever made that. Some of our friends are some of the worst ones that keep us from achieving our goals that we need. We got to manage resources, maximize efforts, and we got to remember that this is a journey. It is not a destination. I mean, listen, you came in this world wet, naked, and hungry, and that's pretty well the way you're going to go out. So what are we going to do between that time? You know? So it's kind of a fight, isn't it? And I mean, I say that in a positive way. So if we're going to have a personal strategic plan, we have something like this, a dream for the future. Now this vision needs to be, where do you want to be? Now for me, I want to be the best consultant, the best professor, and the best author in the entire world. Now you know when I want to get there? The fifth and never. That's when I'm going to get. I'm never going to make that. I am never going to make that. But see, it's not about making it. It's about doing all the things that is required to try to get there. My students, I asked them to give me an evaluation on how I do, and they said, well, you're okay. I said, no, tell me the truth. What's good about what I've done and what's not so good? Now, I really don't like that not so good part, you know. But if I want all good, I'll call my mother in Paris. She tells me all the time, you're the greatest son I've ever, just keep it coming. You know. Mission, why do you exist? Now, believe it or not, you have been placed here. One of the things they've done with DNA now is they have found, you know, the O.J. Simpson trial, they started a bunch of that stuff up. But now they found out that there's 6 billion people on this planet. And none of us, including identical twins, have the same DNA. In fact, one of the researchers, who's an atheist, said this, it's like we were all designed for a purpose. So I think you've been designed for a purpose. Now the question is, are you leading toward that way, or are you going another way? So why do you exist? See, I think I exist. I'm giving you mine as we go through here. I think I exist to make a difference in somebody's life every day. That's my goal, and I'm going to try to achieve that every day. Because my grandmother told me this. She had 6 brothers. They were all Baptist ministers. Maybe I missed my calling. She told me, she said that God is going to kill you when He's through with you. He's going to take you out of here if you're not making a difference, you're gone. So I'm thinking, you know, let's get up. Isn't it fun when you get a little bit older, you get up in the morning, you're thinking, I'm up. And then you go to the bathroom, and you know, the bad thing now about being this age is when you walk to the bathroom, you wake up because your bones are popping and making all kinds of noise. And so by the time you get there and your feet hit that cold floor, you wake up and then you can't get back to sleep. Y'all notice that? Thank God for Advil PM. But anyway, we gotta have 3 goals, and so my goals are around that professor, and that's a spiritual goal that I won't go into, and the author and the consultant, and then how do we get there? Milestones. When am I going to get there? We need to set some milestones up so that we can try to make it. And then what am I willing to do, and what am I willing to sacrifice? How far are you willing to go? It's one of the things I ask my young kids. I say my MBA student, 23, 25. How far are you willing to go? Well, just to that door. Okay. No, I'm prepared to go as far as I need to go. Now, I'm helping that person because they're ready. So there are 4 types of people in life. That's what I have seen. I've seen these people. Some people see it. I mean, some people never see it. Wanderers is what I call them. I don't know what else to call them. There's some people who see it but never pursue it on their own. I call them followers. There's some people that see it and pursue it. Those are achievers. And then some people see it and help others see it. And that's where I want to be. I want to be one of those leaders. But you know what? I see young people all the time that have tremendous talent, and they waste it because they won't go after those goals that I pick out for them, and I can see that they can do it. I mean, I know they can do it, but they don't want to or can't see themselves. Now we have a change formula. that all of us have to go through, because sometimes people ask me this, okay, if I want to make a change in my life, how do I do that? We've got to go through this change formula. Now, change is equal to D, being dissatisfied with where you are right now. Now, could somebody else make you dissatisfied, or do you need to get dissatisfied on your own? You kind of need to get dissatisfied on your own, right? And then we have a vision, we have a picture of what the change looks like. And then we take first steps. And that has to be greater than the cost. This X over here. When I retired in 2000, I gained a half a pound every other month. I got up to 206. My doctor, Dr. Paul Berg in Georgetown, Texas, said, "Mag," he said, "we're getting right up there to the limit." My daddy died of diabetes type 2. Grandmother died of it. Little sister has it. Little brother has it. Aunt just had her right leg cut off. Money. He says, "You've got to lose 21 pounds. I said, "Well, nobody ever lost 21 pounds before." He said, "Oh, yeah, they have," but he said, it's a struggle. He said, "In fact, I need you to go to Jenny Craig." I said, "Do they have a Bob Craig?" I got 30 years in the Army, and you're asking me to go to Jenny Craig? Do they have a back door? Can you go at midnight? I mean, how's this thing work? Because this is not right. So I tried Jenny Craig for a while. You know, and a hot notebook's not worth much. But no, the meals are pretty good, but I couldn't. And of course, the women stripped down to nothing in there when they weigh, you know, because you had to weigh every week. And, you know, sometimes I'd go in there and they'd say, "Hey, wait, you need to wait outside for a bit." I didn't know what the deal was. They said, "We got women in here half naked so that they can get as light as they possibly can on the scale." So they, you know. Okay. And of course, I'm thinking about, hey, that's a good idea. And then I had this young lady chew me out because I didn't make my weight go, you know, which is not, that's not right. You know, she's like this. She didn't understand what, because now I can sit across the table from you and I get your weight. You know, it hits on me. So he said, "If you don't do this," I went back to him, I said, "That's not working." He said, "Well, if you don't do this, what we're going to do is we're going to start cutting off your toes first." And probably about 5 years, 4 years. I became very dissatisfied with the way that looked. He said, "Now, after we get your toes cut off, you need to move to Taylor." I said, "I'm going to be healthier in Taylor?" He said, "No, that's where the fighting ducks are. You're going to walk like one. You might as well get over there with them." That wasn't a good picture either. So he said, "You're going to get," I was in 40s. You know how we guys do? If we get pants, we just throw those other pants away. You know, because we're not going back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, once you pass 36, you throw those away. Give those to the Salvation Army or something, because you're not going back. He said, "We're going to get 30. You're going to be back in 36s." I said, that's, I mean, because I was in 40s. And let me tell you something. Some of those 40s were tight. You know how you leave them in the closet? You leave them in the closet for about a week and they shrink on you? Have you noticed that? So he said, "We got to lose that weight." And he says, "Maybe you need to join a gym. Georgetown Fitness or something." I said, "What?" And you know what? I joined the gym for 2 weeks, nothing happened. He said, "No, you have to go." I thought if I just joined the gym, maybe that would. So then he said, "You got to get a trainer." So I lost about 25 pounds. I put on about 10 more with just muscle. My body fat's down to 19%. And I'm not saying it to brag to you. I'm talking to you about how miserable I have been for the last 5 years. But I don't want my toes cut off. And so the cost to me is worth it because I want to keep my feet. So that's kind of how the change formula works. So if you want to make a change, if you get dissatisfied, you see the picture and you take first steps, then if that's greater than the cost to you, you will make a change. So then we have to talk about our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and we have to have the self-evaluation we talked about before, about full disclosure, so that we can honestly talk about 3 of these apiece: 3 strengths, 3 weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Excuse me. And we need to talk about it to our friends, spouse maybe, if you trust his or her judgment about you, but sometimes they're so close they can't be like really honest. And they may know you a little bit better than what we really need for this, if you know what I'm saying. So we need to think about that. Here's my final thoughts. Now on the farm, for you that are non-farm literate people, if you have mules and they don't have names, you call them G-Haul. G's left and Hall's right. And so I'll never forget that you know you have 2 good mules when they'll stand beside each other, left and right, G and Hall, out in the pasture when they're not hooked up. And what I want to make the analogy is your dreams and aspirations.